The topic of the day: controlled opposition. Let's just read it straight from the playbook. Controlled opposition is a strategy used by intelligence agencies and other powerful organizations to manipulate and undermine opposition movements. It involves infiltrating a resistance movement with agents who pretend to be part of the movement, but are actually working on behalf of the organization that wants to control the movement. The goal of controlled opposition is to steer the resistance movement in a direction that is more favorable to the organization's interests, or to discredit the movement altogether. Intelligence agencies have a long history of using controlled opposition to manipulate resistance movements. They often use agents who are skilled at blending in with the movement and gaining the trust of its members. Once inside the movement, these agents work to influence its leaders and steer the movement in a direction that is more beneficial to the intelligence agency's goals. One common tactic used by controlled opposition is to push the movement toward violence or extremism. By making the movement seem dangerous or radical, the intelligence agency can turn public opinion against it and make it easier to suppress. Another tactic is to sow discord and division within the movement, either by manipulating the leadership or by infiltrating different factions and pitting them against each other. Overall, the goal of controlled opposition is to neutralize the threat posed by resistance movements by either steering them in a more favorable direction or discrediting them entirely. In the United States, the COINTELPRO program was an example of controlled opposition used by the FBI during the 1950s and 1960s. COINTELPRO, short for Counterintelligence Program, was designed to disrupt and neutralize political organizations that the FBI deemed subversive. The FBI used a variety of tactics to achieve this goal, including infiltration of targeted groups, spreading false rumors and disinformation, and even inciting violence between different groups. By creating the appearance of opposition in these groups, the FBI was able to control and manipulate the direction of their activities. For example, the FBI infiltrated and disrupted the civil rights movement by creating false divisions within the movement and spreading rumors of infidelity and other personal flaws about its leaders. The FBI also targeted anti-war and leftist groups, using similar tactics to create conflict and disrupt their activities. The FBI appeared to be combating subversive organizations, but in reality, it was using covert and often illegal tactics to control and manipulate these groups for its own purposes. Imagine that, against its own citizens. That was probably the only time that has happened, right? They apply this playbook against any movement that could pose a threat to their system. So, how do you think one specific grassroots movement, which started with people trying to figure out cryptic online posts by critically thinking and doing their research, was deemed dangerous, and somehow got spun into the QAnon movement? Take a wild guess. The message of Q was that of critical thought and unity, in a world where divide and conquer and cognitive formatting has always been the preferred tactic to control the masses. So Q had to go. Through infiltration, disinformation, false divisions, harassment and intimidation, blackmail or threats, and even planting false evidence to discredit or incriminate select individuals. They also managed to incite some people to commit violence. And not least, they used the media to discredit anyone researching the Q posts as a dangerous conspiracy theorist. They corrupted the movement in the eyes of the public. Social pressure did the rest. Those of you who endured, well done, patriot. Future proves past. Welcome to the revolution. Where we go one, we go all.